الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد.
The Shaykh, he said, all praise is to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and peace and blessings and salutations upon his messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and upon his family and his companions, and to continue.
هذه المنظومة متعلقة بالقواعد الفقهية كتبها الشيخ عبد الرحمن السعدي رحمه الله تعالى.
This poem is connected to Al-Qawaid al-Fiqh'hiyah, which for now I'm just going to call juristic maxims for the purpose of the translation until the Shaykh inshallah will explain. And it was authored by Imam Abdurrahman al-Sa'di, may Allah have mercy upon him.
والقواعد جمع قاعدة وهي أساس الشيء.
And this word qawaid, it is the plural of qaida. And a qaida is the foundation of something.
والفقه هو الفهم.
And fiqh is understanding.
وفي الاصطلاح هو معرفة الأحكام الشرعية العملية المكتسبة من أدلتها الشرعية.
And in a technical sense, it is to know the rulings of the Sharia that are acted upon, from the specific kinds of evidences, the evidences which are specific in nature.
فالقواعد الفقهية هي عبارة عن أحكام كلية أو أغلبية تندرج تحتها جزئيات كثيرة تعرف أحكام هذه الجزئيات من هذا الحكم الأغلبي.
So these qawaid fiqhiyah, these juristic principles or maxims, are essentially a collection of comprehensive rulings or principles that either cover every situation or most situations, and underneath them there are many specific applications of those principles which come from that original principle or that original foundation.
مثال ذلك المشقة تجلب التيسير. هذه قاعدة فقهية.
An example of this is the principle that hardship brings about ease. This is one of these qawaid fiqhiyah, one of these juristic or legal maxims.
هذه القاعدة نستطيع أن نعرف من خلالها أحكام كثيرة في الشريعة. فالمريض بسبب المشقة يجوز له أن يجمع بين الصلاتين، والمسافر بسبب المشقة يجوز له أن يجمع بين الصلاتين، والإنسان إذا أكل أو شرب ناسيا وهو صائم لا يفطر، وهكذا.
So from this one principle, which is the idea that, or the principle that hardship brings about ease, we can know many individual rulings. From them, the Shaykh gave 3 examples. For example, the sick person is permitted to join between 2 prayers. And likewise, the traveler, because of the difficulties they endure, are able to join between 2 prayers. And likewise, a person who is fasting and that person eats out of forgetfulness does not have to break, they continue their fast, they don't have to break their fast. All of these are taken from that original principle that difficulty brings about ease.
والفائدة من دراسة القواعد الفقهية أولاً أنها تعين على ضبط المسائل الكثيرة، لأن مسائل الفقه والأحكام المتعلقة فيها كثيرة جداً، فإذا عرف طالب العلم هذه القاعدة استطاع أن يعرف أحكام مسائل كثيرة متشابهة.
From the benefits of learning these comprehensive principles is that they allow you to have a precise understanding of many different issues or many different matters that relate to fiqh. So the Shaykh, he said there are the number of masail, the individual issues that we deal with in fiqh are huge in number. And without these principles, it would be difficult for you to be able to remember them, to remember each one of them precisely. But these principles make it easy for you to be able to remember precisely and have precision in these masail which are large in number.
الفائدة الثانية أنه يستطيع أن يستنبط الأحكام للوقائع المتجددة.
The second benefit is that it gives the person the ability to extract rulings in matters which are new. They have recently come about. They don't have a precedent for them.
أيضا الفائدة الثالثة هذه القواعد تبين مدى استيعاب هذه الشريعة للأحكام.
The third benefit is that these principles show the comprehensive nature of the Sharia for all of the different situations and rulings that it has, the comprehensive nature of it.
والشيخ رحمه الله تعالى ذكر أهم القواعد الفقهية التي يحتاجها طالب العلم.
And the Shaykh, may Allah have mercy on him, the author, he has mentioned the most important principles that are needed by the student of knowledge.
ثم الشيخ أثابه الله وغفر له بدأ بمقدمة لهذه القواعد حمد الله تبارك وتعالى فيها وصلى على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وبين أهمية معرفة هذه القواعد الفقهية.
So the Shaykh, may Allah have mercy on him and may Allah reward him, began with an introduction in which he praised Allah and he sent salutations upon the Messenger, and he explained the importance of this knowledge.
فقال الشيخ رحمه الله تعالى
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اغفر لنا ولشيخنا وللحاضرين. قال الإمام عبد الرحمن بن ناصر السعدي رحمه الله تعالى في منظومته القواعد الفقهية: الحمد لله العلي الأرفق وجامع الأشياء والمفرق ذي النعم الواسعة الغزيرة والحكم الباهرة الكثيرة.
نعم، بدأ الشيخ رحمه الله تعالى بالحمد، وهو الثناء على الله تبارك وتعالى.
The Shaykh, he began with Alhamd, which is the praise of Allah, blessed and exalted.
وبين أن الله تبارك وتعالى هو صاحب النعم الكثيرة والحكم التي من خلالها يجمع بين المتفرقات ويبين أحكام المتشابهات.
And the Shaykh, he mentioned the blessings of Allah, which are many, the huge blessings of Allah, or the many blessings of Allah, and the wisdom through which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to bring together many separate issues. So when we talk about what the Shaykh, he mentioned about Jam' al-Mutafarriqat, bringing together all of these things which are at first seem to be different to each other, bringing them together with a common principle, and likewise the matters that are all split up and maybe confusing to bring clarity to them.
نعم.
ثم الصلاة مع سلام دائم على الرسول القرشي الخاتم وآله وصحبه الأبرار الحائز مراتب الفخار.
نعم، ثم صلى رحمه الله تعالى على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وبين أنه النبي الخاتم، أي خاتم الأنبياء، وصلى على آله وعلى صحابته الأبرار، وبين أنهم هم الذين حازوا أعلى المراتب عند الله تبارك وتعالى.
Then the author, he sent peace and blessings and salutations upon the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and explained and clarified that he is Al-Khatam, yani the last of the messengers, the final messenger. And likewise, he extended those peace and blessings to his followers and his companions and explained that those are the people who achieved the highest and the most noble of statuses.
اعلم هديت أن أفضل المنن علم يزيل الشك عنك والدرن ويكشف الحق لذي القلوب ويوصل العبد إلى المطلوب.
نعم. ثم بين الشيخ رحمه الله أن أفضل النعم والمنن التي يمن الله بها على عباده أن يرشده إلى طلب العلم الذي فائدته أنه يكشف الشك والدرن، فالعلم به يحتفظ الإنسان من فتن الشبهات وفتن الشهوات.
Then the Shaykh, may Allah have mercy on him, he mentioned that the greatest of Allah's blessings and graces is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides a person towards seeking knowledge. Seeking knowledge whose the benefit of which is that the person is saved from the desires and also the false notions and confusion, and a person is protected from those things through that knowledge that he seeks.
نعم.
فاحرص على فهمك للقواعد جامعة المسائل الشوارد لترتقي في العلم خير مرتقى وتقتفي سبل الذي قد وفقا.
نعم. الشيخ رحمه الله يبين أهمية دراسة القواعد الفقهية بأنها تجمع المسائل المتفرقة في الفقه وتذكرها في قاعدة واحدة. فالمسائل الواردة في كتاب الطهارة والصلاة والحج وفي كتاب البيوع وفي كتاب النكاح وفي كتاب القضاء، هذه مسائل متفرقة ومتباعدة تعرفها بمعرفة قاعدة واحدة.
Then the Shaykh, may Allah have mercy upon him, he explained the importance of learning these Qawaid Fiqh'hiyah, these comprehensive principles of fiqh, by which we are able to gather together many different issues. And the Shaykh, he gave an example of this. He said, for example, you have issues relating to purification, issues relating to prayer, relating to Hajj, relating to buying and selling, relating to nikah, relating to judgments. All of those issues are in themselves separate, but this one principle gathers them all together. They all fall under this one single principle.
وأن فائدة هذه القواعد الفقهية أن طالب العلم يرتقي من الأقل إلى الأعلى، وهكذا ينبني بناء طالب العلم بأنه يبدأ بالمسائل الصغيرة ثم بعد ذلك يتوسع في مسائل العلم.
And the Shaykh explained that the benefit of learning these is that the person is raised in knowledge from having a small amount of knowledge to having a greater amount of knowledge. And the Shaykh said this is how we build up a student of knowledge, starting with small matters which are smaller, which are easier, and then progressing on to matters which are larger and more complex.
فالتدرج في طلب العلم هي طريقة أهل العلم الراسخين.
So going step by step in seeking knowledge is the methodology of the firmly grounded scholars.
نعم.
وهذه قواعد نظمتها من كتب أهل العلم قد حصلتها جزاهم المولى عظيم الأجر والعفو مع غفرانه والبر.
نعم. بين الشيخ رحمه الله أن هذه القواعد لم يبتدعها من تلقاء نفسه وإنما أخذها ممن سبق.
The Shaykh, may Allah have mercy on him, explained that these principles, he did not invent them from himself. Rather, he took them from the books of the people who had preceded.
ثم دعا لهؤلاء العلماء الذين سبقوه وهذا اعتراف من الشيخ بفضل أهل العلم الذين سبقوه.
Then he made dua for those people who preceded him, and this is the Shaykh, he's admitting to the, he's admitting to the fact that those people who preceded him, they have this virtue and this status, this high virtue and status over him.
نعم.
والنية شرط لسائر العمل بها الصلاح والفساد للعمل.
نعم، هذه القاعدة الأولى من القواعد الفقهية وهي الأمور بمقاصدها.
This is the first principle from the Qawaid Fiqh'hiyah, and the Shaykh, he summarized this principle, or he gave it a title when he said Al-Umuru bimaqasidiha, that things depend upon the intention by which they were done. Again, I think when the Shaykh explains further, it will become clearer. But for now, things depend upon the intention for which they are done. That's roughly what the translation of it is.
والدليل على القاعدة إنما الأعمال بالنيات.
And the evidence for this principle is the hadith that actions are according to intentions.
والنية هي العزم على الشيء، العزم والقصد لفعل الشيء.
And niyyah, this word niyyah or intention, it is to have a determination or a resolve to do something. So al-azm is to have a resolve or to have a determination, to be resolved to do a particular thing.
وهذه القاعدة من أعظم قواعد الدين تدخل في جميع أبواب الشريعة.
And this principle is from the greatest of the principles of the religion. And every single topic within the Sharia can be, this principle is used in it and relates to every single aspect of the religion.
والمقصود من القاعدة إجمالا أن أقوال المكلفين وأفعالهم مرتبطة بمقاصدهم ونياتهم.
And the summary of this, or the summary of the understanding of this, is that the statements of the mukallafin are the people who are required to carry out the actions in the Sharia. Their statements and their actions are tied to their intention and the purpose for which they did something.
ويشترط لصحة النية 4 شروط.
And for an intention to be correct, it has 4 conditions.
الشرط الأول الإسلام، فالكافر لا تصح منه النية.
The first condition is Islam, because a non-Muslim, their intention is not valid. The intention they make is not valid.
الشرط الثاني العقل، فالمجنون أيضا لا تصح منه النية.
The second condition is being sane, because the person who is insane, their intention is not valid.
الشرط الثالث التمييز، والتمييز هو السن الذي يفهم الطفل من خلاله الخطاب ويستطيع أن يرد الجواب، فالذي دون التمييز لا نية له، يعني ابن سنة أو سنتين ليست له نية.
The third condition is what the Shaykh termed as tamyiz, and this is an age at which a child understands what is being said to him and is able to respond. So this is what the Shaykh, this is a term that you should be familiar with. We should use the Arabic word tamyiz, which is an age at which a child understands what is being said to him and is able to respond. So the Shaykh, he said, for example, a child of 1 or 2 years old, their niyyah is not valid, their intention is not valid, because this person cannot, or this child cannot understand what is being said to them and cannot respond with an intelligent answer to what is being said to them.
الشرط الرابع العلم بالمنوي، لأن الذي لا يعلم بالشيء لا يتصور أنه ينويه. ومثال ذلك إذا لم يعلم الإنسان بأن غدا من رمضان لا يستطيع أن ينوي أن يصوم غدا من رمضان.
The fourth condition is that the person has to know the thing that they are intending, because it's not possible, or you can't imagine a situation in which a person would intend something and not knowing what that thing actually is. And the Shaykh gave an example. He said, for example, if a person doesn't know that tomorrow is Ramadan, it's not possible for that person to make an intention to fast Ramadan if they didn't know that tomorrow was Ramadan.
كيف نستفيد من هذه القاعدة في الفقه؟ الفائدة الأولى التمييز بين العبادات بعضها عن بعض.
The Shaykh said, how can we benefit from this principle? He said the first benefit is to distinguish between the different acts of worship.
مثال ذلك إذا أردت أن تصلي فالصلاة قد تكون صلاة فريضة، قد تكون صلاة ظهر، وقد تكون صلاة عصر، وقد تكون سنة راتبة، وقد تكون سنة الوضوء وغير ذلك. فالذي يميز العبادات بعضها عن بعض هو النية.
The example of this, if you were to pray, then this prayer could be an obligatory prayer. It could be a dhuhr prayer. It could be an asr prayer. It could be a one of the ratiba, one of the prayers that you pray, the sunnah prayers you pray during the day. And it could have been a prayer, for example, after you made wudu and you pray your 2 raka'at after wudu. It could be any of those things. So the thing which distinguishes each of those prayers from each other is the intention.
مثال آخر الأموال التي يعطيها الغني للفقير قد يكون مراده أنها زكاة، وقد يكون مراده أنها صدقة، وقد يكون مراده أنها كفارة. فالذي يميز هذه عن هذه هو النية.
The second example, if a person who is rich gives money to one who is poor, his intention might be zakah, his intention might be to give sadaqah, to give regular charity, and his intention might be as an expiation, a kafara, an expiation for what he had done. So the thing which makes these three things different is the person's intention.
فلو أن رجلا أعطى الفقير مالا على أنه صدقة، فهو نوى أن هذه صدقة، ثم تذكر بأن عليه زكاة لم يخرجها، فلا يستطيع أن يجعل هذا المال الذي أخرجه بنية الصدقة أنه مال زكاة.
So for example, if a person were to give a poor person some money with the intention of this being a sadaqah, a charity, a regular charity, then after having given that money, the person realizes that this is actually he owes zakah. He has zakah that he is due to give. He can't now make that sadaqah that he gave zakah because he had given it with the intention of it being sadaqah, and then when he remembered later on that he had zakah, he can't now make that intended sadaqah into zakah.
مثال آخر لو أنه صام يوما ك6 من شوال ثم تذكر بأن عليه يوم قضاء من رمضان، فليس له أن يجعل هذا اليوم هو قضاء رمضان.
Another example, if a person were to fast one of the 6 days of Shawwal, then after having fasted that day of Shawwal, he remembers that he was supposed to fast the day of Ramadan. He still has a day to make up from Ramadan. He can't make that day of Shawwal into a day from Ramadan since he had fasted it with the intention of it being a day from Shawwal.
الفائدة الثانية من فوائد النية التمييز بين العبادات عن العادات.
The second benefit from this principle relating to intention is to distinguish between acts of worship and customs. Things that you would do, adat, are things you would do customarily. You don't do it as part of worship. It's just a part of the customs that you have.
مثال ذلك لو أن الإنسان اغتسل للتنظف ثم بعد ذلك تذكر بأن عليه غسل جنابة، فلا يجزئ هذا الغسل عن غسل الجنابة،
So for example, if a person were to take a bath or shower in order to get clean, it's just a customary sort of thing in their life. They want to get clean. So they take a shower in order to get clean. When they finish that shower, they remember that they had to make ghusl from the state of janaba, from a state of being in impurity. That shower that they took to get clean, that will not suffice them. It's not sufficient for them to do that because they didn't do it with the intention of ghusl.
مثال آخر: لو أن الإنسان أمسك عن الطعام والشراب حمية أو نسيانا، ثم بعد أن غربت الشمس أراد أن يجعل هذا الإمساك صوما يتقرب به إلى الله، فهذا العمل لا يكون قربة، لأنه لم ينوي هذه العادة على أنها عبادة. نعم. يعني تخفيف.
So the Shaykh gave an example. If a person were to withhold from eating food and refrain from eating food for some need of theirs, the Shaykh mentioned, for example, the person might want to, not to eat too much, or to kind of cut down on the food that they're eating, or the person might have forgotten to eat. It's not then allowed for them to, because their intention was not to fast as an act of worship, it's not then allowed for them to make that or to count that as a fast that was done for an act of worship.
الفائدة الثالثة من فوائد النية معرفة ألفاظ المتكلمين. مثال ذلك: لو أن الإنسان قال لزوجته في حال الغضب: اخرجي من البيت، فإذا نوى بهذه الكلمة أنه يطلقها فهذا طلاق، وإذا نوى بأنه يريد أن يخرجها ولم ينوي الطلاق فلا يعتبر طلاقا.
The third benefit from this principle that we take is understanding what people mean from what they said, what people mean by their speech. So for example, if a man were to get angry with his wife and say to her, leave the house, then Shaykh said if he had intended by that he wants to divorce her, that was the words leave the house, his intention was, I mean leave the house, you are divorced. Then she is divorced, the divorce happens. And if it was the case that he simply wished for her to leave the house because he was angry and he didn't intend that he was to divorce her, then in that case the divorce did not happen.
ولو أن رجلا قيل له بأن فلان اغتابك أو تكلم فيك، فقال والله لا أكلم فلانا، ثم تبين بأن هذا الأمر لم يحصل، فلا تنعقد يمينه لأنه نوى أنه لا يكلمه لأنه تكلم فيه، فلما تبين أنه لم يتكلم فيه فله أن يكلمه بعد ذلك.
Another example, if it was said to a person that so-and-so he did backbiting against you, he backbited you, and then the person says, by Allah, he makes an oath that by Allah, I'm not going to speak to this person. Then after that, it becomes clear that this backbiting didn't happen. The report that was given to him, it was not correct. It didn't happen. Then this oath that person, or this vow that person made, it doesn't count, because he only made that vow based upon the intention or based upon the information that was given to him that this person had fallen into backbiting against him. So when it became clear that this event didn't happen, the situation is that this vow or this promise that this person made doesn't count, and he is allowed to speak to that person after that.
الفائدة الرابعة من فوائد النية الإخلاص لله تبارك وتعالى. فالإنسان قد يعمل العمل وينوي به وجه الله، وآخر يعمل العمل ويريد به الرياء والسمعة. الذي يفرق بين هذا وهذا هو النية.
The fourth benefit is sincerity for the sake of Allah. And the Shaykh explained that two people may do an action, one of them intends for it to be done for the sake of Allah, and the other one does the same action and intends for it to be showing off, either for people to see them or people to hear about them. And the thing that distinguishes between those two things is the intention.
مسألة أخرى وهي أمور لا تشترط لها النية. الأمر الأول أمور التروك، فترك المعاصي لا تشترط له النية.
The Shaykh said another matter that we can talk about here are things for which no intention is required. Things for which no intention is required. And the Shaykh said the first thing that we have that does not require an intention is to leave something. All of the things that you leave off, like leaving off a sin. When you leave off a sin, it doesn't require an intention for that.
الأمر الثاني أيضا من التروك إزالة النجاسة، فإزالة النجاسة من التروك التي لا تشترط لها النية. فلو أن الثوب وقعت فيه نجاسة ثم نزل المطر على هذا الثوب وزالت النجاسة من دون أن ينوي الإنسان، فإن النجاسة يزول حكمها.
From these things which the Shaykh mentioned that come under leaving things which don't require an intention is removing impurities. So the Shaykh said, for example, if you got something impure on your clothing and then it rained and the rain itself removed that impurity from the clothing, you didn't intend to remove it. You hadn't made an intention to remove that impurity. But what you had done is simply just the rain had removed it without you intending. The Shaykh said then the impurity is considered to be removed, even though you hadn't made an intention for it, because this is from the things which does not require the intention.
الأمر الثاني الذي لا تشترط له النية ما يغلب فيه حق المخلوق. مثال ذلك النفقات، فالإنسان إذا أنفق على زوجته أو على أولاده لا يشترط النية إلا لحصول الثواب.
The second thing which doesn't require an intention are those things in which the predominant nature or the majority sort of concern of them is the right of creation. So for example, the Shaykh gave the example of spending upon your family. When you spend upon your family, you don't need to intend to do so. However, if the Shaykh, he said, except if you are talking about getting the reward. When you make that intention, then you get the reward of doing so. But in of itself, it doesn't require the intention for you to spend, for example, upon your family.
مثال آخر رد الودائع، فلو أن الإنسان أعطاك شيئا ثم رددت له هذه الوديعة بدون نية فحكمها أنها قد ردت له.
And likewise, returning back lost items or things that belong to someone else. So if you had found a lost item that belonged to someone and you returned it back to them without an intention, that is considered as having been returned even if you hadn't intended for it to be returned. This comes under what the Shaykh had mentioned, where the main issue here is someone's right. The primary issue is the right of somebody else.
ثم مسألة أخرى وهي مبطلات النية. الأمر الأول قطع النية. مثال ذلك لو أن الإنسان وهو يتوضأ غسل وجهه ثم قال لا أريد أن أتوضأ بنيته.
The Shaykh said another issue that we have to speak about are the things which negate the intention or cancel out the intention. And he mentioned the first thing is for you yourself to cancel the intention. Qata' an-niyya is for you yourself to stop intending it. You've stopped intending what you had intended before, you've stopped it. So for example, you were making wudu and while you are making wudu, you washed your hands, and then you came to wash your face, you washed your face, and then you made an intention that you no longer want to make wudu. You stopped that intention. And so this is from the things which cancels the intention out.
كذلك لو وهو في أثناء الصلاة نوى قطع نية الصلاة فإن الصلاة تبطل.
Likewise, a person who is praying and during the prayer they make the intention to break their prayer, in other words to stop praying and to leave their prayer, then this prayer becomes invalid, it becomes cancelled out, it's no longer counted.
أما التردد في قطع النية كما لو كان في الصلاة فقال هل أكمل الصلاة أو لا، أو كان صائما فقال أفطر أو لا أفطر، فهو تردد في قطع النية، فالتردد في قطع النية لا يبطلها.
So the next thing is, what about when you are doubtful or you are between two issues, you're not sure about whether I want to stop my intention or not, I'm thinking about it. So when you're in this state, the Shaykh said, for example, you are praying and you're thinking, should I leave the prayer or not? Should I stop my prayer or not? Or you're fasting and you're thinking, should I break my fast or not? Then this does not invalidate the intention that you made. The fact that you're between two things, you're not quite sure whether to do that one or to do that one, you haven't decided yet. So until you decide, it doesn't break your intention.
المسألة الأخيرة في ما يتعلق بالنية في محلها، محل النية القلب، لأن القصد محله القلب، ولذلك لا يشرع التلفظ بالنية.
The Shaykh said the last thing that we're going to talk about as it relates to intention is where is the place of intention? And the place of intention is the heart. And it's not legislated for us to speak our niyyah out verbally.
نعم.
قال رحمه الله تعالى: الدين مبني على المصالح في جلبها والدرء للقبائح.
نعم، هذا البيت يتضمن أن الشريعة مبناها على تحقيق المصالح وعلى درء المفاسد، فالأحكام الشرعية المقصود منها تحقيق مصالح الناس ودفع ما يضرهم.
The Shaykh said this line of poetry explains to us that the Sharia is built upon achieving al-masalih. Al-masalih here again is a word which in English we could translate a lot of different ways. But what we're going to say about here is achieving, let's call it for now, positive consequences, a positive result, and preventing negative things from happening, the mafasid, the negative consequences or negative things from happening. So the Shaykh, he said, all of the purpose behind the rulings we have in Islam is to achieve a positive benefit and to repel or to prevent negative consequences or negative things from happening.
ونستفيد من ذلك أن الإنسان أو الفقيه إذا تردد في مسألة هل هي مباحة أو محرمة وتعارضت عنده الأدلة، فإنه ينظر في مآلات هذه المسألة، فإذا كانت تشتمل على المفاسد دل ذلك على تحريمها، وإذا كانت لا تشتمل على المفاسد دل ذلك على أنها ليست بمحرمة بل مباحة.
Shaykh said from this is that the faqih, the person of the scholar of fiqh, if he is unsure of a particular matter, whether it is permissible or not, and the evidences for him there appears to be evidences on both sides. So he's not saying it's not a situation where the person has only one evidence, but he has evidences on both sides and he's not sure whether it is permissible or not. Then he looks at the ultimate outcome of that matter. If the ultimate outcome of that matter is full of negative outcomes, negative consequences, then he should go towards it being forbidden. And if the ultimate outcome of that matter is one which brings about positive consequences and a positive outcome, then he moves towards it being permissible.
وقول الشيخ في جلبها والدرء للقبائح يتضمن قاعدتين. القاعدة الأولى قاعدة لا ضرر ولا ضرار، وهذه أحد القواعد الخمس الكبرى.
So now the Shaykh came on to talk about the second part of the line of poetry, and he said there are two principles in it. The first principle is a principle which we call la darara wa la dirar, that there is no harm or reciprocating harm. That's how people translate it mostly. And this, the Shaykh said, is one of the comprehensive principles, the 5 most comprehensive principles of the Sharia.
والضرر هو إلحاق المشقة بالغير، فالشريعة جاءت بالمنع من إلحاق الضرر بالآخرين.
So the Shaykh is going to go on to explain this principle, la darara wa la dirar. And the Shaykh, he said, ad-darar, and sometimes for the benefit, it's better for you sometimes to write these few terms in Arabic, because the Shaykh's explanation will be better than the translation that we bring. So the Shaykh, he said, ad-darar, it is to cause difficulty or to cause harm to someone else. So the Sharia came to prevent causing harm to someone else.
والضرر ينقسم إلى قسمين. القسم الأول الضرر أن يكون أصليا. القسم الأول أن يكون أصليا بمعنى أن يتعمد الإنسان إلحاق الضرر بالغير.
And as for ad-darar or harm, it comes in, or it can be divided into 2 categories. The first is that it is, and it's better to use the Shaykh's explanation than to put a word on it, is that it is deliberate, that you deliberately intend to cause harm to someone else.
فيتعمد إيذاء الناس في أبدانهم أو في أعراضهم أو في أموالهم، فهذا الضرر ممنوع شرعا، فلا يجوز للإنسان أن يلحق الضرر بالآخرين.
So the Shaykh said, in this case, a person makes an intention that they deliberately want to harm somebody, either physically, or either as it relates to their honor and reputation, or either in terms of financially, they want to cause a harm to someone. The Shaykh said this is prohibited in the Sharia, in the Shara of Islam. It's prohibited. It's not allowed for you to intend to cause harm to other people.
القسم الثاني أن يكون الضرر تابعا، بمعنى أنه لا يتعمد إلحاق الضرر بالآخرين، ولكنه يعمل عملا ينتفع به في نفسه، وهذا العمل يؤدي إلى الضرر بالآخرين، فهذا أيضا ممنوع شرعا.
Shaykh said the second is that it is, I think the best word for it in English is consequential harm. That this person doesn't intend to do harm to someone else, but they do something that benefits themselves, and as a consequence, it harms somebody else. And the Shaykh said this is also prohibited in Islam.
مثال ذلك لو أراد أن يحدث في بيته ويضع في بيته تنورا، فهذا قد يؤثر على جاره بالحرارة أو غير ذلك، فيمنع من إحداث مثل هذه الأمور في بيته ولو كان ينتفع بها.
So the example the Shaykh he gave is that a person wants to build or wants to place, and I guess it's a tanur is an open oven, something like that, into their home. This particular thing that they want to put in there, the heat of it or it may cause a harm to his neighbor. So he's benefiting from something that he's this thing that he's putting into his house. He himself is benefiting, but it's harming the heat of it or whatever, something like that is harming his neighbor.
المثال الثاني لو أن الإنسان أكل ثوما أو بصلا وأراد أن يذهب إلى المسجد للصلاة، فيمنع من الذهاب إلى المسجد ولو لم يقصد إيذاء الناس.
The second example, if a person were to eat garlic or onions and then he wants to go to the masjid, that's a benefit for himself. He wants to go to the masjid. He doesn't want to harm the people. He's prohibited or prevented from going to the masjid because even though he doesn't intend to harm people with it, the consequence of him going is that it harms the people.
القاعدة الثانية: درء المفاسد أولى من جلب المصالح. والمقصود من القاعدة أن الإنسان إذا تعارض عنده جلب منفعة أو دفع مضرة فإنه لا يجلب المنفعة وإنما يدفع المضرة. سيتبين هذا بالأمثلة.
The Shaykh said the second principle contained in the same line of poetry, which we are on to now, the 12th. The Shaykh said the second principle, because he had said prior to that there are two principles here. The second principle is that repelling negative consequences takes precedence over bringing about positive ones. Repelling negative consequences takes precedence over bringing about positive ones. So the Shaykh said if a person is in a situation where they have a choice between causing something negative or causing some, where they have a situation where they want to bring about something positive, but it's going to cause something negative. That's the best way of putting it. They want to bring about something positive, but that positive thing they want to bring about is going to cause something negative. Then in this case, the person puts repelling or preventing negative things ahead of bringing about the positive things that he intended to bring. And the Shaykh said this will become clear through examples.
المثال الأول الذي ذكرناه، الذي أكل ثوما أو بصلا وأتى المسجد، نقول لا يأتي إلى المسجد. المنفعة الذي يريدها الصلاة في الجماعة، والمضرة الذي يدفعها عدم إيذاء الناس، فنقول يقدم دفع المضرة على جلب المنفعة.
The Shaykh said the first example is the same example we mentioned earlier. A person eats garlic or onion and they have a positive outcome they want to achieve. They want to go to the masjid and pray in the jama'ah. This is a positive thing. But the negative thing is that they're going to harm the people when they go to the masjid, and they're going to make the people in the masjid uncomfortable. So in this case, we give precedence to stopping the harm, i.e. stopping the people from being harmed, over the benefit of that person praying in the jama'ah that they wanted to achieve.
مثال آخر: رجل يريد أن يقوم الليل صلاة، هذه منفعة، ولكن قيامه بالليل قد يؤدي به إلى ترك صلاة الفجر، وهذه مضرة، فيدفع هذه المضرة بترك هذه المنفعة.
A second example, a person wants to pray the night prayer. But in praying the night prayer, the belief is, or the fear is, that they're going to leave the Fajr prayer. So praying the night prayer is a benefit, it's a positive thing. And leaving the Fajr prayer is the negative thing. We give precedence to stopping the negative over bringing the positive. So in this case, the person doesn't pray the night prayer out of the fear of, or out of a desire to stop the bigger negative, which is leaving praying Fajr or missing the Fajr prayer.
نعم.